Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you how to make a very chunky bag using t-shirt yarn. Now I'll be making use of this very light peachy coral, but I'm bringing in the hot pink to show you that there are different textures and different sizes of t-shirt yarn, should in case you have one that is different. So let's start with this one that I have here, the one I'm going to be using. Can you see how thin it seems to be compared to this hot pink? I think this is like double the hot pink's width. So just in case your project turns out differently than mine, I want you to know that it's totally fine. So saying that, let's move on and get started with our bag. Now, with this thickness, remember I said we are going to make a very chunky bag. Emphasis on very. But with this thickness, what can we do? I still don't think it's thick enough, so I'm going to not double it, I'm going to triple the yarn. Now, if you don't know how to triple a yarn to make a bag, clothing, anything, this tutorial is best for you. Now, let me show you real quick how to triple the yarn so we can get started. Now, you would first of all, of course, double the yarn. Then after doubling it, you would triple it like so. So now you have 3 strands of yarn. Again, you double your yarn like this. Then you fold it one more time to triple it. This way you have 3 strands of yarn, and this now is what we're going to be working with. Now looking at it, it might not be as chunky as if I made use of this very thick pink, because it's quite tiny, but it will do. I'm totally fine with what I have here. And I'll be using a 10mm crochet hook. I don't know, this is the size written, I don't know if you can see it from where you are. A 10mm crochet hook, and of course a pair of scissors. So let's get started. Like I said, after having your yarn in 3 places, you are going to start by tying a slip knot. I want to believe we already know how to do that, but just in case, that's fine. You would cross your yarn like so and bring it all out. So now we have a slip knot. Now you are wondering that, it looks like this yarn will eventually run out, this smaller one. So what you always do is, before it runs out, you will pull more yarn from inside like this. So now you are going to have continuously thick strand all through your project, continuously thick strand. So now let's start by chaining 10. Let's go. Count with me. 1, a chain of 10, 2, 3, 4, and I can see that my yarn is almost running out. I would normally pull out a lot of yarn ahead of time to avoid all these delays, but I know I want to teach, I want to show it. This is why it seems to, be taking more time. So we have how many? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now that we have 10 single crochet, I'm fine with this being the width of my bag, though I'm still going to extend it a little more, but I think this works fine. I'm going to do an extra turning chain so I can go across the project. So 11 for the turning chain, because I want to work single crochet all around the stitches. Now I always love to go in the back loop, but I'm hoping this won't be confusing for you because I'm using 3 strands in one. Instead of going in this front loop like so, I prefer to go in the back loop just so it makes my work neater. So now you're going to start by going in the back loop and working single crochet in the back loop as I'm showing you in the video. And remember what we said, when it looks like your yarn is finishing, just keep pulling more of it out. And have in mind that this will imply that you would use up way more yarn than you normally should. But if what you are looking for is chunkiness, then this is the best bet for you. So continue to single crochet until we get to the end of the line. We're almost there. Just pick out your single crochet from the back loop. That way your work will be neater when working on any bag at all. Yes, and we're almost at the last row. Now I'm about to do the last row, but I want to show you what we've done so far. Don't you like it? This is why I said your work will be very, very chunky. I am going to love it, and it works up very fast, so that's fine. Then for this last row, let me pick extra yarn because I want it to be enough. Now for this last row, we are going to chain 3 because we want to increase this corner here. This is the last row, as you can see. So instead of doing, chain 3 and 3 single crochet. So instead of doing 1 single crochet on this last row, we're going to have 3 single crochet. You can use your stitch marker in case it confuses you to know where the 3 starts from, but it doesn't really matter because it's very big. So I believe you can see what you're doing perfectly well. And this is the best way to learn how to make any bag anyway, because it's very obvious. So we're going to have 1, 2, and 3. Now we have 3 single crochet as the turning chain. Now we're going to have 1 single crochet on every stitch. Now to hide this tail, we just crochet over it. I believe we know this already. So let's just go 1 single crochet on every stitch until we get to the end of the row. 1 single crochet. Now you need to know that working with t-shirt yarn is generally tough. If you've been looking forward to making bags with t-shirt yarn, please, you might want to go to the gym because it's extra tough working with t-shirt yarn. But I know you can do it. I believe in you. I know you can do it. So we keep working like so until we get to the end. Until we get to the end, and we'll soon get to the point where you'll be able to do it yourself. So now we've gotten to the last row here. We're going to repeat the same thing we have here on this last row, which is doing 3 single crochet here, just like you've done here, to increase this side of the bag. So we're going to do 3 single crochet. I don't know if you can hear the tension between the yarn and the and the crochet hook, but that's how. So this is 2, and finally the last one. 3. So now we have 3 single crochet, 3 single crochet, and the base of our bag is basically what? Done. Now we're going to, now that the base is done, we want to join it to the very first single crochet that we have done, because I normally wouldn't count this one. So this is the first single crochet that we have done. So just watch me join it here. This is the first single crochet. So you bring your work. Now this is how I join. If you have any other way that you join with, then it's fine. So I bring my yarn towards the back of the first one, like so. Then I go back in and bring it together. That is how I join my work. If you have an easier way or a different way of joining, then it's fine, but I'll go over it one more time. To join, right, this is the first one, and in case of next time, you could use a stitch marker, so I won't be the one telling you what your first one is or what your second one is. But at the end of the day, you should have the same number of row aside the 3, this way and this way. So to join again, let's do it one more time. You would bring out your work like so, and then just look at it well. Then you would have it like so, and then bring everything out. Oops, we're running out of yarn. That shouldn't happen. You should always fetch your yarn. Always fetch your yarn, so you don't have to stress yourself. So now that we've fetched our yarn, now I'm going to bring it all out. Bring the yarn out and chain 1. Now this is the start of a new row for me. Now as you can see, your work is supposed to look like this. Look at the back. It's going to have a neat, it will have this seamless look. That's why I like working on the back loop the way I started. So the remaining steps to this bag is not hard at all. Just keep doing single crochet all around, single crochet all around. Let's go. And I'm going to meet you at the end of the second row. Let's do a few more before I meet you there. We're just going to be doing single crochets like so all around. Like this. And let me meet you at the end of the second row. So now that we are at the second row, I would just want to show how to join the last and the first of the second row, so it doesn't confuse us. And like we have said, this is where our last loop is. So you put your hook in the first, like I explained earlier, and then you bring out the last loop like so. Once the last loop is out, gently turn your work like this, so you collect it. I wish I had other terms for what I'm explaining, but that's what I'm showing you visually. So now you can see that you have the braid for the joining loop like this. So now you bring it all out to continue to the next row. Chain 1 to continue to the next row, and this is simply what you are going to be doing until you get to the end of your bag. So I'm going to meet you after 5 rows so we can see what we all have. I'm going to meet you after 5 rows so we can see what we all have. Okay, so after about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows, this is what I have. And I always encourage customization. You don't have to do 10 chain rows. You don't have to do 9 rows. Do as big as you can. Even make a laptop bag out of this. Just be ready to use up a lot of t-shirts here. Don't say I didn't warn you. Now, after we have this row, I think I'm fine with what I have. I'm going to cut it off and then begin customization, because the color is a little dull for me, so I want to spice it up. So I'm cutting it off now. Here I'm going to join to the very first one like so. This is how I end my project. So upon joining here, I'm going to pick the yarn. I wish I had the words, but I hope showing you would, you know, explain it even much better than I will. So let me try and get a smaller hook, because penetrating this is yes, and then I'll pull out all 3 of them from under there. So it's got to be all 3 of them. Yes, now my work is done. So at the end of your work, you should have all these braids like this. Now I'm not very satisfied with what I have, like I said. So let me show you what I'm about to do next. I'm about to add some tassels. You don't have to do what I'm doing. Listen, you don't have to. But you know, normally I like to play with fringe. And of course, I'm going to use this for the handle. So if I'm going to use this for the handle, I might as well have it somewhere across the bag, so it doesn't look like a foreign element. Like, where did this come from? So yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to cut this yarn into strips of how long I want my tassels to be. This is where I'm not giving you any dimension. I'm not giving you any centimeter, because even after this, I'm going to trim it off. But look, maybe you would have an idea. So by the time I cut it, I want to place it on my bag. And I know I'm going to be placing it in the middle, so the beauty of this coral color is not covered. So I'll have it in the middle like so, and it's going to be in the middle everywhere. So depending on when I'm done, I can decide to cut it off here, or cut it off in a different shape. That's up to my creativity. That being said, I'm just going to show you the first one. So by the time I proceed to do the subsequent ones, to attach the fringe, I'm going to go into the middle of 2 rows like so, and then I'll bring out my yarn like this. I'll bring out the yarn, and then I'm going to tie it off like this. Now I have the first fringe. I'm using 2 at one, by the way. You can use 3, but I feel like 2 is enough. 3 might be too much. So I'm going to the next one. So this is a simple way to attach fringe or tassels or what have you to any of your bohemian, projects. Any project you want to have fringe on. So this is the second one. As you can see, it's looking like it came with the bag, like I crocheted the fringe with the bag, and that's the aim. That's the purpose. And this is the third one. Just be careful and make sure they are of equal sides before tying it off. Make sure they are of equal sides. I think it's equal enough. So yes, this is the third one. So this is what I'm going to do round on this particular row, just so you see. So it's still picking, the coral is still picking, but the fringe is there. So now that I'm done, this is what I have on my bag. That's with the wine fringe. Now to complement the white fringe, I'm going to have wine slip stitch all across the edge, and like we've discussed, this shouldn't take a lot of time at all. I'm going to triple the yarn, fold it once, fold it twice, then let me just go straight in right here. Yeah, I can start here. So I'm just going to slip stitch all around the edges. This is the first. Second. And again, once your supply of yarn is finishing, you can always bring more out. So I'm going to do this all around. Let me do a little more so you could see it clearly. The third, the fourth. Can you see? And I'll have this all around. Again, this is freestyle. So we're going to do the handle. Now that we have the slip stitch figured out, we have the tassels figured out. Again, this is my own, way of finishing the bag. I want to do a very simple chain handle, and I'm going to go in through, this is the hook I should be using, the 10mm. Yeah, so I'm going to go in through the middle of my slip stitch, and I'm going to start chaining from here. So 1 chain, 2 chain. This is as long as you want the bag to be, right? I don't think I want the chain to be, in fact, it's a small bag, it's a small boho bag. So 3 chain, 4 chain, 5 chain. Let's extend the yarn a little bit more. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let's see. Let's add like 2 more chain, 21 and 22. So I think this is fine by me. I'm trying to give it a second look, so I'll be sure it works fine for a small purse. 22. I'm adding an extra chain. Yeah. Oh no, 22 is fine. Yeah, 22 is fine. So now that I've worked out the chain, I'm just going to, connect it to this side of the bag by simply, first thing is I'll cut the tail off, and then I'm going to connect it back inside the same way I connected the handle the first time. The same way I connected the handle the first time, I'm going to connect it inside here. T-shirt yarn can be hard to work with, so I love that it's making all this sound on camera, so you know how it really be, how it really is sometimes. So this is what I want to have, like so. So this is what my bag looks like on completing it. I decided to go for this handle because I found it around the house, and I have this lovely charm to accompany the bag. And of course, to secure your things, I believe you have to use a fastener, a magnetic lock. But at the end of the day, depending on any color you decide to use, the combination, your bag should turn out something like this. So let me know how you found the tutorial, and please remember to subscribe to my channel because I have more tutorials coming up on crochet wares, bags, and all. Thank you.